see I'm okay. I'm with myself, my life away.
A small fraction of the people who think I'm crazy to come do this, the typical thing I hear is you're going over there, all the way over to Israel to dig dirt. I said, you can do that here. I said, well, it's different dirt.
You're in the places where Jesus walked. Right now we're in a place where they said the tabernacle was, and it's just really neat to work through these different time periods, whether it's Byzantine, Roman, Iron Age, Bronze Age. And so, quite frankly, I'm just thrilled to be here.
Our volunteers are wonderful people. They make great sacrifices to come here and serve. We don't pay them, they have to pay to come. They have plane fare, and to participate in the dig, they pay for a hotel and food and all the things that are needed to operate our dig. It's hot, they get tired, it's a long day, we get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
We have 143 volunteers just like you registered to work this summer. That's the largest dig in Israel this summer. Okay?
When you come to the square the very first time, don't worry, we'll train you. You don't have to know anything.
This is Mark Hassler. We're at the northern edge of Tel Shiloh, and we're excavating an archaeological square here. We're taking it down level, that's the goal, so as to drain a bathtub. We don't dig holes, we go down at a uniform rate.
A balk is a section that we leave unexcavated so that we see a vertical record of the layers or the locus that we have.
So when we come into a square, there are multiple roles that take place. We've got the task of breaking up the compact dirt. You can use a pick, a small hand pick, or a larger pick. There's the job of taking the teria, the hoe, and scooping it into the basket. And then from there, all the earth and material gets taken out and put into the dry sift.
We sift through everything and we toss out the rocks and we keep all the shards of pottery. And once we've got all the debris out of here, the rocks, then we'll put it in here. And now, even though we've gone through it once at the square, twice here, it's going to go down to the wet sifting station.
After the material's been dry sifted up on top and the large items taken out, rather than throw the spoil away, the spoil is wrapped up in colored bags. Each square is identified to a particular supervisor. And then coming down here, we take the spoil from the dry sift and we wet sift it to find even smaller finds that may have been covered up by mud and dust that wouldn't be seen by the naked eye right away.
Oh, right there.
The material I'm working with is going down through a Roman level. So I'm finding pieces of Roman cooking pot.
We have an art and science called pottery typology. And there's a whole book on that has been codified over the years, so that when we find a piece, we can then look in that book to be fairly certain what time period we are in.
After the day's done, we scrub the pottery and then put it in a tray to dry. The next day, we take the pottery from each pail, look at it, we count how many pieces were there so we have an idea of how much pottery was in the locus. We take the diagnostic shards, which are rims, handles, and bases.
We sort them out according to what time periods they come from, and they decide which ones to keep, which ones not to.
What we use are diagnostic features. There's the wear of the actual vessel that helps us. There's the form of the vessel. Does the rim evert or invert, or is it straight? We look at inclusions in the clay to see how well levigated the clay was. And then was it wheel made? We have a fast wheel in the Middle Bronze Age, a slow wheel in the Early Bronze Age. And so we're looking at multiple factors from morphology to content and so forth that help us determine the time period. And then just like learning vehicles from the 1950s as opposed to the 1960s as opposed to the 1970s, once you learn it, then you can date using the pottery.
So Ellen just found this tiny nail, which we think is a sandal tack or a hobnail from the New Testament or Roman period. So she found it, and so she marks where it was with that stick, and then we have to record, we have to put this in an envelope and record where it came from and what elevation it was.
I'm here as the objects registrar with Associates for Biblical Research, and I register all of our small finds.
It's good photography, someone to keep records and photograph all the evidence, documentation. So we take a lot of pictures, and those pictures help us to understand the layers and the walls that were there that were now taken out, so that we can reconstruct ourselves what we did. We take a lot of them.
So each year we produce a report that documents all the discoveries that we found here and all the work that we've done. We hand that in to the authorities here that are in charge of the dig. And then eventually we collate all of that information together at the end of our dig, and we publish a large volume showing the analysis and the discoveries from the dig that integrate it with the biblical text and to show how they fit together.
So it's a terrible amount of work, but it's very, very helpful.
Fill it full of water and scrub and do dishes. It's a never-ending process for millennia.